Unfortunately, the doors are missing. I found some tired old doors. So in this video, I'm going to see if I can make them work. I would need to cut them down to suit the roof job on my 51 Chevy Rat Truck Build. Coming up. Hey, how's it, Oaks, and welcome back. Thanks for joining me in my forest workshop today. So I'm very happy that I finally found some old doors for my 51 Chevy. They are in terrible condition, but the price was right. I didn't pay anything for them. So beggars can't be choosers, right? So my mate Kevin was on a road trip from Cape Town to Knysna, and he offered to pick him up for me in Cape Town and drop him off on his way past. Only problem is Kevin likes to travel at some rather strange times, so I had to meet him at midnight to do the transfer.
This is in drug addict corner. It's just like suspect shit.
It's not heavy once you get it going. Okay, I'm turning that on.
Are you cool? Yeah. So we do it in Africa, smuggling in the dark. You got it all by yourself. Look at us, woman. Oh, wait. Right? This is crazy. Are you checking for cops? Tell me.
Take that.
Thanks, guys.
How's it, Hans?
Big shout out to Sean Peters at Street Truck Garage in Cape Town for giving me these doors. Thanks, brother. So these doors came off of a beautiful Restomod truck that got destroyed in a terrible fire. It's actually quite sad. So they burnt badly. The metal parts still seem okay, but the fire got so hot. Let me show you some pieces of the glass that used to be in these doors. I picked up these pieces in the bottom of the door. Look at that, unbelievable. So yeah, I've got no door handles, I've got no hinges. Obviously I don't have any glass. I'm not sure whether the window winding mechanisms still work, but got the basis of a door, something resembling a door. And considering my budget rat truck build, the price was right. We'll have to see what we can do with this. So I've just got my fire door. I've got it on resting on a jack. So obviously you can see it's too long. It also needs to be cut 3 inches and 3 inches. So let me go and cut the top off of this door. Right, so let's see. We can see here now how much needs to be taken away in the front. Got to cut a piece off in the back as well. And then if the back is lined up, we're coming short there. So I have to cut it in half here so that this can move forward to line up there. So it will require a patch piece. But this offcut will be perfect for making that patch piece to go in there. So I want my door on hinges before I do this to make sure everything lines up and it's accurate. And I don't have hinges yet, so I can't do this at the moment. I have to find hinges somewhere or make them probably. So until that is in place, I can't finish this. I bought this lathe more than 10 years ago from a neighboring farmer, and I paid the princely sum of $250 for it. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I think that's more an operator error. I don't call myself a machinist, but it's good enough for me. I get by, and I guess I can say I'm very blessed to have it. So I'm just busy making my own hinges now, because I want to get these doors to swing, man. And if I had to go, hunt for original hinges, goodness knows how long that'll take, and if I will even find some. So I am using some 70 by 6 flat bar that I had here. That would be what, 2 3/4 inches by 1/4 inch for my American friends. I've made up these brackets. Go in like this now. Looks like the first cold front of this winter is here. It's raining and it's cold. Okay, let's see how this thing's going to fit. Come on. We don't have a perfect fit here. This door gap's not parallel, and this door needs to go in more in the bottom, but I can feel it's catching there already. I might have to take something off down here to get it to go in a little bit more. So I don't know, maybe it's because of the distortion from the heat that the poor door got in that fire. Actually, I think these doors might belong to a slightly different model, because this crease line goes up here. It's definitely not a perfect match in this area. So this door gap here is definitely a bit of a mismatch here as well. So I'm just going to take a little bit off the door here to give it a better fit. So I've taken the door off, and I'm just going to cut a little bit off of the flange here in the bottom. Okay, let's go try it again. Okay, it's better. It's not perfect. This gap down here is actually quite big. But hey, it's just a rat rod. I really do think maybe this door's got some distortion a little bit. Or like I'm also thinking it might be from a slightly different model. But this is going to have to be good enough. So I'm going to live with that. So my hinges are going to sit on the outside of the door, which is definitely not the way it was on these Chevys. So I've got my brackets coming out. It's going to be so much easier to do it like this. So my hinge will now sit there. However, you can see these two brackets are at different angles. So I need to draw a straight line down here and cut the brackets accordingly to ensure that the hinge pins will line up. Otherwise the door will never open. So here's something interesting. If this hinge line was vertical, that would be sort of the neutral position. But if I take the hinge line this way, what will happen? The gravity will actually cause the door to open by itself. And if I take the hinge line that way, you would have to push to get the door to open, just because of the weight of the door. So depending on how you pull this line, it will affect the way the door behaves. Oh dear, I've messed up though. My bracket is too short. I'm gonna have to add a piece. Luckily we've got a welding machine, eh? Little bit of grinding and the problem is solved. Yes, it's pouring now, I hope you can hear me. I've got my door clamped up in position, it's not going to go anywhere. I've established where I actually want to cut for my hinge line. I've actually taken it in a little bit from vertical inwards, but the door would tend to be self-closing. So I've scribed some lines, I'm just going to cut it now. There's a challenge here, where the hinge attached to the cab, this part here is completely rotted out. So because those inside hinge mounting points are missing in action, and because it's much easier, and because this is just a rat rod, I'm going to mount these brackets on the outside of the cab. It will go well with these bonnet hinges that I made in a previous video. So I've clamped it onto my door bracket. I've got a bit of a shim stock in there just to create a little clearance. And now I'm going to drill it so that I can bolt this to the cab. Same story down here in the bottom with the bottom bracket. So far so good, except there's only one problem. It's just hanging here. To bolt it on, I need to take the freaking door off again. Eish. Oh well. Okay, door off one more time. I can't reach those furthest bolts with my thick fingers through the small hole. So that's when you tape the nut to a spanner, and now you can stick the spanner in there and feel your way along. So my brackets are bolted on, and now I had to figure a way in which to hold my hinge pin bushes or hinge bushes so that they are lined up, because if they're not lined up, the door will bind when it opens. So I needed to come up with a way in which to hold them in place and check them. So here's what I did. I took some strips of offcut sheet metal, bent them around the bushes and clamped them top and bottom on each bush. So now I can use a straight edge and check them like this and like this to make sure they're lined up. Adjust them a little bit if need be, and do my best to get these fellows in a line. Right, so I'm going to tack weld the center bush to the bracket that is on the door. Same down here. And the two outer bushes I'm going to tack weld onto this bracket that is bolted to the cab. So I'm not going to try and hinge and open the door yet, because I know it's going to foul on these weld points here. So I'm just going to take my straps off. And now I'm going to knock the pins out. And I'm going to take the door off to see what we've got. There we go. Whew, I'm getting too old for this shit. Right, now I can just give some clearance here. So just to use this other bush to show you, I do need to provide a little bit of clearance there because it's tight at the moment. A little bit more. Can you see there's a gap there now? So the bush can rotate freely. So I've taken the hinge bracket off the door. I'm just going to try it. Let's see. Ah, it's working well. So let's try another test. I've clamped on this heavy piece of angle bar, basically connecting the two together now. So now they will have to work together. Oh man, that's awesome. Look at that. So it looks like my lining up is good. I think I'm going to weld these things up completely. I took the hinges off so I could weld my bushes fully on both sides. And then you have to spend a fair amount of time just cleaning up the welds where they will or where they are interfering with the operation of the hinge. See, the hinge won't close fully, so you've got to smooth out these welds and provide some clearance there, open it up a little bit, so when it closes it goes flush. Right, my 2 hinges are done and they work very well. Let's go try them on the truck. Oh, before we go, let me just show you a small detail. I made a small grub screw to hold my pin in place. I just took a small bolt, cut its head off, and then with a hacksaw I made a slot so I can stick a little screwdriver in there to tighten it up. Obviously then I tapped my hole as well. I've got my newly made hinge brackets bolted to the cab, and now you guys can have a laugh as how Greybeard struggles to get this door on here by himself. I think I might have to get rid of this jacket. I'm already heated up. I've got my friend Mr. Jack to help me. So let's see if we're going to win this fight. Right. Got to aim top and bottom, but maybe I should bring this jack a little bit closer. Get a better balance point. Let's try again. Okay, top one, bottom one. That's not bad, okay. Get it going a little bit better than I thought it would. Aha! So far so good. Jack's a bit too high, I think. It's not all the way in, but it's a good start. Hey, it's in. Just got to fit the bolts. Are you still there? Bottom one is taken. top one. Right, let's see. It's hanging by itself. It's swinging. Moment of truth. Drum roll, please. Let's see if it closes. That's not bad at all. Huh. It's a slight catch here, but not bad. I could maybe fiddle around with it a little bit. Just a wee little bit. I think what I must do is just slot these holes a little bit. This bracket needs to go forward by 1/8 of an inch, if not less. But all in all, I'm pretty happy. Look at that. Mission accomplished. How does that mouse eat an elephant? One tiny bite at a time. So yeah, I would love to get into this next phase here, doing the top of the door. But I think I must first do the other one and get this out of my life, repeat everything I've done here. It's kind of boring to do the same thing twice, but I got to do it. So before I can cut off the top half of the frame, I need to strip out this quarter window. Everything is very rusted and badly burnt, but it would seem that all that heat actually helped to make the screws come out easier. So it's no problem to get them out. Couple of big ones here. I think that was the last one. Yes, I tell you. And I first had to fight to get the little bolt undone that's in here. You can only access it through this hole. Anybody who's ever worked on these doors would know what I'm talking about. But I got that little bastard off. It holds the bottom end of this rail, so now this should be able to come out. Let's see. Almost. Here we go. I found some more pieces of glass in one of the doors. Just look at this. What kind of heat does it take to do that to plate glass? Whoa. So I'm stripping out these old mechanisms, and now I have to deal with this strange little bolt. I don't know, can you see the head? Some of you might know them. I mean, what asshole dreamt up this shit? What the hell? So I got this one out with a flat screwdriver, an old one, but I stripped this one. So I think I'm just going to weld on this freaking bolt here. Then I can take it out proper. I think it will help if I open the gas. Bloody hell. Those hose welds meant nothing. Okay, let's see. So either it will come out or my porous weld will break. There we go. Looking stupid thing. I mean, what do you even call these sets? I don't know. Maybe one of you can let me know. Sure, there's someone who knows what their proper name is. I'll just use the piece from the first door to mark this one, and then I can cut it off the same. Ach no man, I can kick my own ass now. Look how far this hinge is sticking out now. I should have tipped this hinge line in a little bit more. Why didn't I do that? I mean, sometimes you gotta do things twice to get it right. Well, question is, do I really want to do all of this again? To change that hinge line and tip it in a little bit more? Because currently the door doesn't close by itself, so I can't afford to tip it in more. But it's a shitload of work to do this, to change it all again. I'm definitely going to do the one on the other side, so that the hinge is not sticking out so far, and then we'll see, we'll see if I find the energy or the inclination to redo this. I guess it'll probably never happen. Well, so you learn, eh? So I'm definitely gonna tip this one in much further off of the vertical. So that will definitely mean that this door will be more self-closing than the one on the passenger side. And then of course my hinge won't stick out so much as well. So yeah, you got to do it twice to understand it better and get it right. Let's get this one right. Hey, so unless I redo the one on the other side, it's only going to be you and me who knows that they're not going to be the same, eh? I mean, nobody else would really see the difference. So don't tell anyone, especially not the YouTube inspectors. The door on this side was a bitch, eh? But I waxed it and I changed in the hinge line. Look at that. Self-closing. So it works better than the one on the other side. So this door definitely got more fire than the one on the other side. I think it actually just got more distortion. I really struggled with it, but it's fitted. And you can see it's mostly rusted. There's very little paint left on it. Look at the one here on the left hand side. There's a lot more paint left on it. It looks to me like the truck they came off was a sort of a grey color. So I got doors, man. Open and close. Well, okay, half doors. Still got to do these tops to fit in with the roof chop. I haven't got any door handles, I haven't got any door latches. One step at a time. Thanks for spending some time with me in the shop. Really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video when we do the tops of these doors. Until then, have a good one.